Excellent. So in yesterday's class we have studied that how the first recombinant DNA was produced by the Herbert Bayer and his colleague. The name is given here, that is the Herbert Bayer and Stanley Cohen, and for that they got the Nobel Prize also. We will study what was the importance or what is the importance of that plasmid which is having antibiotic resistance in the following section. Okay. So far what we have studied is, that is what are the parts of the biotechnology or rather genetic engineering. That is, we have to identify a particular gene which we want to copy, which we want to get the product from outside source. So first we will have to identify a gene, then second is to cutting a gene from the specific locations, and then third is separation of this gene from the host organisms, that is जिसका भी वो part है. Say for example it is taken from my pancreas, so from my pancreas cell the gene is taken, then it is separated out. Then the fourth thing is choosing a particular vector in which it has to be multiplied, so in then its body it will be introduced, then using DNA ligase it will be joined with that, okay, and then it will be allowed to grow in the culture medium so that it form the multiple copy, and then the gene of our interest will also be copied. The next is again we'll have to cut it using the same restriction enzyme so that those genes can be taken out, and now we'll have to, from those different segments of the gene, we'll have to separate that particular gene, and then again it will be introduced into the next what you call bacteria or yeast, and then they will be cultured in the conditions, in the what you call ambient condition and ambient condition, and then we will find the product, and the product will be separated and it will be processed, it will be packed, it will be marketed. So that is all the steps are. Okay. And biotechnology as for now we are doing in order to get either a particular type of enzyme or a particular type of hormone or specific type of molecule which we don't get and which is very important, or to get vaccines. Okay. So these are the substances for which we are doing biotechnology, but biotechnology has got much larger scope. Say for example, any gene we can cut separate from an individual or we can add in an individual. So say for example, if we got and just a funny example I am telling, just to understand the significance of genetic engineering. Say for example, you got such a big what you call you take any fruit, say for example watermelon. Now watermelon is such big and it is full of pulp, but the taste of the watermelon is not as good as the taste of mango is. So say for example we cut the genes of the mango's taste, fragrance, color, and add it into the watermelon's taste, color and the fragrance will be removed. In place of it, these are placed. So we will get such a big fruit of watermelon, we will have the pulp also in it, but the pulp will taste like that of the mango. The color of the pulp will be that of the mango. The fragrance of the mango pulp will be that of the mango. So that is a very large application. Today we are hearing so much about vaccination. Okay, now vaccination means there are whenever it comes to the vaccination, we have a fear that we will be poked, injection will be given to us. Okay, it may be possible in coming time you may get some fruit which will have those type of chemicals which are required as a vaccination, those type of substances which are required. So you just eat that fruit and it's okay, your purpose is done. So the scope of biotechnology are enormous. Enormous means you have to just think and you have to put it in the practice. Okay, I'll take another example. We have studied that all the leguminous plant has an ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen because their root nodules have got rhizobium bacteria. Can we, by any biotechnology, add that root nodules into the roots of wheat? If it is so, then in the agriculture, you will not require to add urea or any nitrogenous fertilizers. Okay? Because fulfillment of nitrogen requirement will be done by those root nodule bacteria, that is rhizobim bacteria, which are there. So we have to think, we have to keep thinking. As we are thinking today about computer programming, so we are having app for everything. Today we are having app for everything, because we have to just think that how this particular thing will work, and then we make the app. The latest app, or rather app is old, but the latest it is in the news that someone asked that the app what is known as that Arogya Setu. Somebody put a RTI and asked who made Arogya Setu. Government has no idea. Okay? Anyway, I have nothing to do with that, whatever it was that. But Arogya Setu, what does it do? What does it do? It is a very simple app in which you have to register anyone who is suffering from, or who had suffered from corona. Suppose I am suffering from corona, I will have to put my mobile and I will have to fill that Arogya Setu, and I have to show that I am suffering from corona. Then my mobile number will be attached to it, and wherever I go, my location, present location, and my address and all, everything will be there. So anybody who come in vicinity of me will be aware that this person is suffering from corona, we should not go near to him. So see the ideas. You have idea, you can work on it. But working on a computer program is far easy than working on a biotechnology. Because computer program you can make, you can anytime rectify it, you can correct it anytime, and you know the implications. But genetic engineering has a much broader scope, and you don't know where the gene located, how to cut the gene, how to put it there, how to clone it, how to separate it, how to add it to the and how to get the product, or whether there will be some ill effect of that. Now we see somebody that when this coronavirus was coming to that is it has first time exposed from China, some whatever the center. Now people said it has been modified by China, or China is purposefully made that virus. Now we don't know anything about it, but it can be done. It can be done. How? Because what we have to do is we have to change in the gene genetic makeup of that any organism, maybe virus, maybe bacteria, maybe any other pathogen. And suppose some kind of disease is spread which do not have any treatment, then it will go on spreading, and that is what happened with the coronavirus. Corona is a category of virus which was existing from so many years, and it causes cold and influenza and other type of characters. Okay? But it was never so serious. Now there are two ways: either the mutation took place naturally, or somebody artificially mutated it, or it must have been genetically modified it. Okay? So now what is the reason? Nobody knows. Nobody will say that we have made corona. Nobody will say, and at least now nobody will say, because the things are gone so bad. The whole world's economy is crashed. Whole world's so many thousands or other lakhs of people have died, and so severe the implications are. Now today, no one will have guts to say that we have made corona purposefully. So now, even if anyone has made, they will say it is all naturally made or mutant variety. So I think it is clear to you that why we are studying about biotechnology, or rather genetic engineering. Genetic engineering has got enormous scope. There are number of diseases which are caused due to the mutation in us. Can we rectify them? Yes. Yes, we can rectify them. But only those diseases where genes are non-functional, A certain gene is non-functional and we have to add a functional gene and it will start. But suppose the gene is making wrong products, then we will have to study it. We will have to find out about this type of child is going to be born because the parent has that type of disease. And in the early embryonic stage, when just zygote or 8 cell stage or 16 cell stage are there, then we will have to remove and their cells has to be replaced by new genes. Then all those genes will multiply and then finally the child is born in all the cells. Means out of 6 cells, 8 cells were there, out all those 8 cells you will have to replace. That will be a very typical work because it has to be done immediately in a very short period of time. Otherwise 8 will become 16, 16 will become 32. So that will be done. And if it's done in the embryonic stage, then the effect will be nullified. Otherwise that there is no scope. Then we'll have to depend on the outer source only, like what you are doing for the proper people who are suffering from diabetes. Okay, so the scopes we have already done. So the entire thing that we are done now, that summary is given here. You can hence infer that there are 3 basic steps of genetically modified organism. First is identification of the DNA with the desirable gene. You will have to find out that which chromosome, which DNA is having gene and from which location to which location. Okay, and the second is introduction of the identified DNA into the host organ. So then you will have to cut it from here, separate it from here, and then you have to insert it into the host organism using a suitable vector. And then third, that organism with the genetically modified gene has to be cultured in the proper condition, that is the maintenance of the introduced DNA of host and transferring the DNA to its progeny. Okay? So these are the steps. We will see these are total incomplete steps, larger steps. In between so many small steps are there which are being missed. So we will study about them in the due course of time in the same chapter. Let us study the tools that we use for the recombinant DNA technology or to make a genetically modified organism. What tools are we using? Tools means it is not the scissors or the forceps or the brush or the other type of thing which we use in our laboratory. We use to cut anything, either scissor or a knife, okay, or a blade. But here we cannot use those type of things. We can separate the physical thing by staining or filtration and other, which we have studied in the previous class. Last year I have given you, I have shown you the experiments how we stain the mud with the water from the water from the mud. But that cannot be done here because the DNA is much smaller molecules which can easily pass through any of the filter paper which we can make or any of the finest cloth which we can make. So then we have to look for some other type of tools. Now what are the tools which are used in the genetic engineering or biotechnology? We have to study here. The first tool which is given here is the restriction enzyme. Restriction enzymes are also known as molecular scissors. Restriction enzymes are also known as molecular scissors. Molecular scissors means as the scissors are used to cut any paper or cloth or any other items, maybe plant or maybe metal or anything. Similarly, the molecular scissors are used to cut DNA from a specific location. Now two things are there: cutting the DNA and cutting the DNA from the specific location. Okay, so we should be thankful that the God has made such thing which can cut the DNA from a specific location. So you need not to sit under the microscope and see that the DNA the restriction enzyme should go here and cut it. You simply add the restriction enzyme and it will cut the DNA from the desired position because of the certain identification sites. Okay, let us study about the restriction enzyme. What is written? Page number 195, restriction enzymes, the topic is given there. And let us see what is written. In the year 1963, two enzymes responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in Escherichia coli were identified. I already explained it yesterday, that Escherichia coli is a cell in which the bacteriophage virus can invade and it can multiply there. It can add its DNA with the Escherichia coli and multiply, and it can make multiple copy of bacteriophage virus. But later on it is found that there are some Escherichia coli which can resist the infection of bacteriophage virus. How? When studied, it was found that they used to cut their DNA and damage it. They used to cut their DNA and damage it. Okay? So two such enzymes were later identified. However, their strength, their importance were not known at that time. Okay, so let us continue to study that what is written in 1963. Two enzymes responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in E. coli or Escherichia coli were identified. One of these added methyl group to DNA. How they used to do? One used to cut and the other one used to just change its conformation by adding methyl group. Okay, so methyl group to DNA, while the other used to cut DNA and later called restriction endonuclease, which used to cut, that were known as endonuclease. Okay, let us go ahead. The first restriction enzyme, endonuclease, HIND2. Now it has nothing to do with Hindustan. We'll study later on how the names are given. Okay, so first restriction enzyme, you remember the name, first restriction enzyme, multiple choice question बनता है क्या है? The first restriction endonuclease HIND2 whose functioning depending on a specific DNA nucleotide sequence was isolated and characterized. 5 years later, it was found that HIND2 always cut DNA molecule at a particular point of recognition at a specific sequence of 6 base pair. Line थोड़ी लंबी हो गई लेकिन उसको समझना आसान है. What is written? That HIND2, first so it was identified that it is an enzyme which used to cut, and so the name was given endonuclease. But later on it used to found that the HIND2 always used to cut DNA from a specific location. And what the specific location? Location is not on the base of millimeter or centimeter. Rather, it is based on the nitrogen base pair of 6 nitrogen base pair. 6 nitrogen base pair जो है, the base pair. Just for example, if I say I don't know what enzyme base pair it used to use, that will just Google it. Suppose it is AATTGC. And here it will be CGAATT. If this sequence is there, then only it will cut. This is definitely wrong. What I have made, I just wanted to show you that how it used to be. Right. So when these type of 6 nitrogen base sequence is there, now on the entire length of the DNA, this type of sequence may be found only in 1 or 2 places. So when this enzyme is added, it will cut the DNA only from that sequence. Okay, it is something like that you have to suppose on the roadside there are 4 or 5 trees are there, and you want to ask someone to cut a particular tree. So you just put a marking there using a chalk or using color, and you just ask that person ki wherever the mark is there, that you cut. So that marker is there, this is acting as a marker from where the DNA is to be cut. But this word marker we will use somewhere else also. So please you don't use it marker, you just write as a recognition sequence. So this is a recognition sequence. For example, EcoR1 which is given down, no, this is another in such endonuclease, EcoR1. Okay, now EcoR1 cuts the DNA from this sequence. ये भी 6 नाइट्रोजन बेस का सीक्वेंस है. सी सो ये क्या बता रहा है? दैट इज GAATTC. GAATTC. सो G के नीचे क्या होंगे? C T T A G G G A A T T T T C C. Whatever sequence is in this side, that The complementary will have sequence in the opposite direction. This type of arrangement is called palindrome. Palindromic sequence. And when EcoR1 gene is used, endonuclease is used, it will cut the DNA from this sequence between G and AATV. Between G and AATV. Okay? So that is very important discovery, for the biotechnology. Without this, the biotechnology would have never been possible. Because we would have never been able to cut the DNA from a specific location. So the most important discovery for the biotechnology, or rather genetic engineering, to work is the restriction enzyme. Because using the restriction enzyme, we can cut the DNA from a specific location. Okay, so now I'll continue to read that. It was found that the Hindu always cut the DNA sequence on a particular point of recognition, a specific sequence of 6 base pair. The specific base sequence is known as the recognition sequence for Hindu. Beside Hindu, today we know more than 900 restriction enzymes when the book was written. Then the biotechnology, or rather genetic engineering, was in its early stage. Today, thousands of such enzymes are known to us, and that have been isolated from 230 strains of bacteria. So now the strains of bacteria must have also increased in thousands. Okay? Conventional naming. Now, I was saying that Hindu has nothing to do with Hindustan. We are having a nomenclature method of nomenclature, as we are done for the chemistry. We are studying the rules of nomenclature, as we have studied in biology, in taxonomy, then rules of nomenclature. Here again we have got rules of nomenclature, and these rules of nomenclature are rather systematic. Okay? In bio, at least you could give any name. Only certain conditions were there, that the genus name can start with the capital and species name can start with the small, and species name for two individuals can be same, but the genus name cannot be same, and it should be written in italics and all. Those are a different thing. Those are very simple conditions. Here the names are accurate, and by reading the name you immediately come to know that what kind of organism it is obtained from, and what is the location, and in which number it was discovered. See, the convention naming of the enzymes is the first letter of the name of gene. Suppose Escherichia coli. So E stands for Escherichia, CO stands for coli, E will be taken in capital, CO will be taken in, R the third है, that is strain. The strain of that variety, and this italic number, this is not I, actually it is 1, 2, 3, 4, in that way it will be. So you need not to read it as a V, it is actually 5, and it is not I, it is actually 1. So EcoR1 it is. Okay, so see, we'll read that paragraph. The convention naming of the enzyme of the first letter come from the name of the genus, and the second two letters come from the name of the species of the prokaryotic cell from where it has been isolated. So E for Escherichia, and CO, that is in small letter, that is the first two letters of the species, and Escherichia coli RY13 was the name of the bacteria from which it is obtained. So the E stand for Escherichia, CO stand for coli, that is genes, species, first two letters, and then RY is the strain from where the first letter R is taken, capital. Okay, so the letter R is derived from the name of the strain, and the Roman number following the name is indicating that in which order it is been identified. Okay? Was it the first gene from that bacteria, or second, or third, or fourth, or fifth? So first this was identified. Second may also be there EcoR1, EcoR2, EcoR3, EcoR4, and so on and on. Okay, so the naming technique, it is clear to you. First name, that is capital letter जो है, that is stand for the first letter of genus. Second two small letters are standing for the first two letters of species name, and the third capital letter is stand for the strain from which it is obtained, and the fourth the Roman numerals are standing for the order of discovery of that gene from particular strain. ठीक है. Now restriction enzyme belong to the larger class of enzyme. So now again restriction enzyme are of two types. Restriction enzyme are of two types. कौन सा है? फर्स्ट endonucleases and the second is exonucleases. Endonucleases I described so far. ठीक है. Restriction enzymes are of two types. Endonucleases and exonucleases. First I will take exonucleases. Suppose this is the DNA and these were the 6 recognition sequence. So when the exonucleases are added, they will read this recognition sequence and then they will cut just next to it. How they cut, or anywhere in between depending on the species to type exonuclease, and they cut, then they leave the DNA into two such ends. Suppose this is the DNA, and when the exonucleases cuts, it cuts with the two blunt end. Even if you try to join them, rejoin them, it will be easily separated. ठीक है? So it cuts the DNA with blunt end. Whereas the endonucleases also recognizes the nitrogen base sequence, but they cut it in such a way leaving this type of arrangement. ठीक है? So they are not leaving the blunt end, rather they are forming sticky end. Say for example, it was a DNA, my two fingers, and now they are cut. They are cut in such a way that it will have one sticky end and it will have another sticky end. So suppose this was the DNA. So when it is cut, this will have some sticky end here and this will have some sticky end here. So when they are separated, it will have these sticky ends and that will have another sticky end. So sticky end क्या कर रहे हैं? On the sticky end, the nitrogen base of the next nitrogen base of next stretch of the or strand of the DNA can attach. You can see in this diagram number 11.1, page number 196. So when the restriction enzyme EcoR1 is used, see how it cuts the GAATC in the two strands are it is there. So it cuts between the G and AA as shown in the figure. You can see in your book. So it cut between G and AA, and the other strand also from the G and AA. So one, we are just for the sake of understanding, they are shown the one red and one black strand of the DNA. Okay. Now the red one will have CTTA hanging, and that black one will also have that portion hanging out, that is CTTA. So whenever they are brought close, again they can join together because they are complementary to one another. ठीक है? So that is very important. The endonucleases are very important for us इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्सोन्यूक्लियस। तो एंडोन्यूक्लियस क्या करना है हमारे पास, मैं इसको समझा देता हूँ वापस से फ्रॉम द बुक, दैट इज G double A नो, G double A double T C. So it will be G is forming bond with C, T, T, A and G. So when the endonuclease is added, eco-R1, it will cut it from this segment. So we will have one segment, यहाँ तो pairing हो रही है, and यहाँ पे C double P double A, C double P double A will be there. On the other one also, it will be double A double T C. And so when it is not close to on this one, C को करिए, so this A will form bond with this A will form, this T will form on this T will form here, and this is G3 हम करेंगे, ठीक है। So these sticky end will attach or join together. So whenever we are having the practice of genetic engineering, we want the sticky end because we will have to join them together using the DNA ligase. So when the DNA ligase are brought, these two segments which are complementary to one another will join with the help of DNA ligase. The blunt end cannot be joined. Blunt end cannot be joined. So they will never be forming recombinant DNA. That's all for today, children. Thank you.